Hello everyone and welcome. Mankind has been fishing forever and a day, and ever since mankind learned how to take and put a piece of cordage under tension and make it portable, and you have a buddy with you that says, hey, we can hunt with that, we've been bow hunting. So it's only natural that the two would cross paths somewhere along the line. I believe that bow fishing equipment can also make its way into the prepared lifestyle. And I'll give you an example. There have been times where I myself have been fishing and could not get the fish to bite whatsoever, but I could see the fish. Now, I'm not the kind of person who will go out and spend $100, $200, $300 on a dedicated bow fishing kit when I believe I can make my own out of scavenged parts. So that's what I'm going to do today, and I'm not going to go, the tin can route or the bottle route. I'm actually going to use an honest to goodness reel and shoot it, see if I can reel my target back, that kind of good stuff. And I'm also going to take and make a bow fishing arrow. Now, I'm not going to take my good arrows and tear them up and so forth and so on, but I am going to use one, set it up as a bow fishing arrow. So let's go in the shop and start working on this bow fishing reel mount. These are the materials I'm going to use to make the mount or seat for my reel to mount to the bow. First, I've got my reel, and this is a Garcia reel. It's kind of an older model, and I may swap this over to a Zebco type reel or something along that line. I've just got to test it out, see how it works. I've got a piece of 3/4 inch PVC pipe, 2 caps, a 5/16 by 4 inch long bolt, 1 lock nut, and 2 washers. The tools I'm going to use to make this mount are just a torch, a screwdriver, a wrench, a saw, and my hand drill. The first thing I'm going to do is mark my PVC pipe about 2 inches from the end, and the reason for that is when I put my caps on there, the overall length won't exceed my 4-inch bolt. Now that I've got the body of my reel seat cut, I'm going to take my cap and I'm just going to take and use my torch and heat it up and use a wrench to create a flat rise on the inside of the cap. Normally you'd use a heat gun or something along that line to do this, but because the power's out, grid down or whatever, I'm just going to use this torch and just kind of heat it up till I get that rise on there. While it's still warm, I'm just going to take a flathead screwdriver and insert it in there and leave it till it cools, and I'm going to do both caps this way. And I know it's kind of burnt a little bit right there, but I'm going to paint this when I'm done, so I'm not really concerned about it. Now I'm just going to take my hand drill, and I've got a slightly smaller than 5/16 drill bit in there because I want my hole to be fairly snug so this mount doesn't wobble around a lot. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. As you can see, the 5/16 24 thread 4-inch long bolt fits through just enough to screw into the lug on the bow. So we got our pieces of our mount painted and ready to assemble. To assemble, I'm just going to take and slide the tangs of this reel in like so, and then I'm going to put my caps on, line up my holes. I'm going to mount this reel upside down. And I'm just going to get it started, and I'm just going to tighten it down. And there we have it. The only problem is I spooled the line on backwards. So when I turn this, the line will be coming off instead of going on. But that's a minor little hiccup that I can fix. And this is what it looks like from the front. And this is just my first prototype, so to speak. I may end up going with a Zebco style reel or something, but I wanted to do the spin cast because it looked like it put my line closer to my rest. So like I said, we'll have to test it out and see, but there's the beginnings of it. It doesn't look too bad. My test arrow for my spinning reel bow fishing kit kind of deal that I'm making, I'm going to use just a 100 grain field tip. I've got some aluminum wire that's been tied around the end of the field tip and then screwed in. And I've got some 25-pound monofilament line, then just a little shot collar, and the arrow that I'm using is a Bloodsport Punisher with a GPI of 7.9. Now I know ordinarily you'd use an arrow that doesn't have the fletching on it, bow fishing or whatever, but I'm not going to ruin a good arrow just to test this out. So let's see how it goes. So this is the first test of the spin cast reel mounted to the recurve bow, and I'm doing this at about 10 yards. As you can see, it stuck through 3 complete layers of the foam and then into the 4th, and I could start reeling it backwards until the arrow knock dug into the ground. So I'm going to consider this a successful test of the spin cast reel. But as you can see, it kind of mangled up the barbs when I pulled the arrow out of the foam, and I'm not entirely sure if that's supposed to happen, but they're still intact and you could bend them back and reuse them. So I would consider that a successful test of the spin cast reel mounted upside down to the recurve bow. And again, the reason why I chose a spin cast reel mounted upside down was because it put the reel itself in line with the arrow rest. When I was shooting the bow, I was using a 20-pound test line on the reel itself, and then that line was, tied to the leader, so to speak, of a 25-pound test line. And again, shooting at about 10 yards because I don't really consider the bow fishing setup to be a long range kind of deal. The reason why I chose 3/4 inch PVC pipe for the mount itself was so that I would have a cavity in that mount to put hooks, weights, and things of that nature in it, because every piece of gear or equipment that I have, I like to be able to multi-purpose it. So this way here I could take that reel off, mount it to a long stick, tie some hooks, weight on there, and use it as a regular fishing reel. There are a couple of different other options, so to speak, for a recurve bow fishing reel mount, like the tin can and the bottle type. And again, all 3 can be used, both the one I just did, the tin can, and the bottle. And we'll get into those other ones later. So anyway, we'll see y'all next time.